Hi, Sweet Pea.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Celebrating a little bit?
Celebrating a little bit. I'm sorry. It's just quite funny. Whenever we start a podcast, it's always like, hello, Mummy Bear. And it makes me giggle for some reason.
Why?
It's just we stare at each other. We go 3, 2, 1.
I was trying desperately
start.
not to make eye contact with you. I thought if I don't look at her, she might not notice me.
She might not see me. What, we're facing each other from the other end of the sofa. But yeah, I am celebrating because I had exam results and I passed and
Yes. You're through to next year.
I'm through to next year.
That's what you wanted.
It's all good.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
If not,
if not,
a problem.
we have a problem. What was the point of doing the year?
Yeah.
Spending all the money.
All that hell.
All that stuff. Yeah. So I'm very, very happy about it. And then all I've got to do, I think, is just fill out some inscription papers for next year and the usual admin stuff at the beginning of a new kind of uni year.
All good though.
But it's all good, so I'm very, very happy about that.
But apart from that, what have you been up to in the garden?
Apart from that, sowing a lot of seeds in the garden because we've had I've had plenty of rain, so it doesn't mean means I don't have to water loads the seeds. And we're trying out this new technique of putting loads, at least kind of 5 different veg or flowers into one kind of 4-meter long bed by about 50 centimeters or a meter. Yeah, a meter. So they're decent sized beds, and so we've been ramming in a whole load of seeds. So for example, I did a courgette bed. I did first of all 3 different types of courgettes. I did just your bog standard usual green long courgette. I then did a round kind of white speckled courgette, and then a patty pan kind of squash, courgette, whatever you want to call it. So I did those. Those were like the main staple of this bed, which gets plenty of sun, and then also gets watered plenty. It's just in quite a decent spot. And then I put in red kind of cut and come again lettuce along the front and the back. Then I did some corn as well in there. I also did some carrots. I think they're called Nantes. And then I also put in some parsley into there. So there was a nice mix of calendula. That was the last thing I put in there, to put some really good flowers, and I thought that would keep the slugs away, any pests from the nice courgette leaves, so we can just keep it all healthy and nice.
Well, so we should explain why we're trying this technique. We have had a really informative chit chat with somebody in
Can't give too much away.
Up and coming series.
He or she
gave us some incredible tips, and we're trying his or her technique.
Yes.
It works amazingly for him or her, and
so difficult.
This person is having extreme success and on a really big scale. So we're going with this. And I really like the ethos. It makes sense. And it does actually link up a bit with one of the guests on Garden as well this week.
Oh, yes. It's such a good
point.
Very
similar ethos. But the other bed that we're doing is going to be butternut squash.
Yeah.
So we've got the nitrogen takers. Then we're going to have some nitrogen fixers. So some beans will go in there. Then we're going to have some sunflowers for the beans to grow up.
Yeah.
And because it's in our squash bed, we've already got a framework set up.
Yeah,
we
precisely.
Normally grow our squashes upwards.
Yeah.
So those can all grow up. The sunflowers will be supported by that structure.
Yeah. And then I put chard and some purple dragon carrots. That's the variety name, purple dragon, in there.
And what this person says is ideally you want 5 different veg plus an aromatic herb.
Yeah. Exactly.
So which herb have you put in there?
I'm yet to put the herb in. It probably will be something bought from the garden centre.
Yeah.
Because herbs are a little bit difficult to buy. Quite difficult to grow, I find. Bar basil, which I have had a lot of success with in the past. And that will obviously be going in the tomato bed. That's like a known fact. Yeah. Basil and tomato, bosh. Bob's your father's uncle.
That's right.
Bob's your father's uncle.
Bob's your father's brother.
Bob's your father's brother. And there we go. Like, how do I manage to mess up absolutely every saying?
I shouldn't worry too much about it. But I'm very excited about this way of growing.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see if we have success productivity wise.
I really hope so.
But one way or another, it's going to look good, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know it's not all about the aesthetics, but I do like that aesthetic.
Oh, of course, it's nice to have something good to look at. You don't just want a heap of mess.
No, absolutely. But on that topic, I have made some nettle pesto this week. I actually made it before this program came out, so it was interesting that we've got this amazing forager.
I know.
As well.
I know.
I just thought, right, I need to use up a load of those nettles. We have an abundance on purpose. We have a whole bed for them
on purpose,
which sits above our veg garden. So I harvested a whole load of nettles and I made a pesto. And it was with toasted walnuts for the nut element, lemon juice, of course, garlic, olive oil.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
I was seriously surprised at how good it tasted. It was absolutely incredible. I was ready for it to taste just kind of grassy and green.
All right.
But when I sat down and had chlorophyll, whatever that tastes of. But I honestly sat down and I could have had another bowl of that. We had it. What did we have it with?
We had it with flatbreads.
That was it. Yes, we had it with flatbreads. That was so insanely good.
We had some. Should also mention it was with Parmesan cheese in there as well. Your usual pesto recipe.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we had it with flatbreads with I think some goat's cheese went into that as well.
Yeah,
we had it with some vegetables. Just a really nice flavour to put on whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. And such a good snack as well.
Yeah, because you can highly recommend it
all the time. And then also the other thing that you can do with nettles, which we did before this program, we kind of did stuff beforehand.
Yeah,
and then
we preempted this one.
We preempted it. Also with nettles, the whole good thing of making nettle feed for your plants, tomatoes, especially in the veg garden. So I had made that quite a few weeks ago, actually.
You made it a few weeks ago and you jarred it up, so they're taking all these jars of this brown sludge is taking up space on the shelves in the greenhouse.
It reeks.
But at least lids are on, so it doesn't smell as bad as when you had it in that more open bin. But yeah, you're all set for your nettle feed, aren't you, for all the veg?
Yeah, and I also made a dandelion feed. So I just pulled up all the dandelions in the gravel or wherever, which was so easy. I tried to include as much of the root as possible because that has so much nutrients in it.
Yeah.
So you don't really want just the leaves.
No.
And then just did the same old thing, whack it in a bucket as much as possible, really fill it in, and then water up to the top and then seal it.
Do you put the flowers in as well?
Yeah, flowers as well.
Excellent. So we're well set up. We're ready to attack this season with vigour and stinky nettle fertiliser.
Great. Exactly.
Otherwise, in the garden, a lot coming up. I mean, it's just such a great time of year. We've got loads of roses, haven't we? All the roses are coming out.
Oh, on the river terrace, it's so incredibly gorgeous at the kind of opposite diagonal ends of the terrace. We planted 2 roses, one this kind of yellowy orange, so almost peach, but it wasn't quite peach. Sorry, Monty. And then we planted this really pretty pink rose, but with dark kind of glaucous coloured leaves, so there's a slight bluish tint to the leaves, so it looks amazing. And they're kind of crawling across and almost touching each other.
Crawling across the pergola.
The pergola on the river terrace. And it looks so good. And they look like bunting. We were just talking about it today. They look like bunting because the roses.
So many buds. It's amazing.
Everywhere.
I can't get over how healthy it looks. And the one you took from cuttings, which I put on our Instagram page, but I'll add that to our website.
Yeah.
The most beautiful yellow flowers and the greenest, lushest, black spot free rose leaves I've ever seen. Long may that continue. But talking of that, we have got on our very sort of antique looking pink rose, which is gorgeous.
Very wedding antique.
Yeah, I noticed on one of the buds this kind of flecking and I Googled it and apparently it's called botrytis blight. And there's very little you can do other than you have to just cut everything back. And as soon as it shows near a bud, the stems, you cut it right down. You get rid of the cuttings because it is windborne, and you wash your secateurs and
oh blimey O'Reilly.
So
burn everything.
It's just going to have to be a bit of a battle. But for now they're looking all right. Apparently it's caused by it being very wet. And so basically what happens is the you think, oh wow, look at all my rosebuds, and they start to open into roses. You think, oh, can't wait, and then they just rot on the stem.
Ooh.
They just go brown, and that's the end of that.
I mean, that's just nasty.
It's sad.
That's
but anyway,
mean.
At least I've identified what it is.
Yeah, that is good actually.
So we can get on top of it. And then really for me, in terms of roses, I've also, was it last week I talked about how rose oil is very good for the brain.
Yes. We got right onto that, didn't we?
Yes, some scientific research was done where volunteers would wear a drop of rose oil on their clothing, and they had it every day, every night for 3 months. And there was a marked difference in the activity in their brain. And so it's considered that this could ward off dementia, or certainly slow down the process. So I thought, right, I need to get in there. So I ordered some rose oil. It arrived. I wore it one day. It just makes me feel so sickly because it's such a pungent smell.
It is sickly, the smell.
Yeah, it really is. Everywhere I go, I waft around the place smelling like an old woman. And so I'm going to have to rethink the strategy. I'm not sure if I can handle 3 months of it.
Yeah, it is a little bit of an old lady smell.
Can you handle it if I smell like that for 3 months?
I could. Yeah, you definitely have a far worse, not worse, but you have a better sense of smell, which makes all smells worse if they're already kind of bad.
It's problematic.
It is problematic. Like, we can be sitting anywhere and you'll be like, oh, who's that? And I'll be like, what? And you're able to smell them. And I'm like, oh my God.
I can smell people coming. I can smell people smoking in 2 cars along in a traffic jam.
Exactly. It is crazy. And
that's my superpower, maybe.
It's your superpower. Mine is hypersensitive hearing.
And mine's hypersensitive smell. What a combination. Like The Incredibles, but can't run as fast.
Yeah, and I can see pretty well, and you
I can't see anything.
You can't see anything.
Not a thing. You used to have 20/20 vision, but that's gone down the Swanee as well. Oh, I tell you, old age is such fun. Anyway,
I feel so sorry for you.
Thank you. That's what I need, is pity. That makes me feel even better.
No, that's bad. Oh, people, I'm sorry.
Oh, this has taken such a depressing turn.
Sad times.
Sad times. Right. Well, housekeeping from last week.
Yes.
One for you was, are figs carnivorous?
Yes, and they are actually considered carnivorous in a way, because plants that are carnivorous, it's a plant that attracts, traps and digests animals for the nutrients they contain.
Right.
And this is exactly what a fig does, frankly. The fig does contain enzymes in it which digests the wasps. So just like pitcher plants at the bottom, they have the enzymes which digest the flies. And then just like pitcher plants, they then use that kind of composted nutrients, frankly, so that they grow as fertilizer for the plant. So
amazing.
they are considered carnivorous.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is very cool.
Yeah.
Isn't nature great, man?
It's very cool. So next time you see anyone eating a fig, you go, did you know that's carnivorous?
You are not vegan if
you are not vegan.
Well, my little bit of housekeeping was, we just were wondering why some gardeners cut flowers off hostas.
Oh, yes, we were.
And I think you pretty much answered it. It's primarily to redirect the plant's energy from seed production into the roots and the leaf growth. Yeah. So they'll remove the flower stalk's escapes to prevent the hosta from wasting its resources.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does. Well, I have a little bit of chit-chat catch-up.
Oh, yes.
Follow on from last week, we talked about Delia's book, Delia May West's book that she's publishing soon. And she actually, between that recording and today, in fact, I think it was only a day after we'd recorded, she announced that she has now, it's gone off to print.
It has.
So she's showing the cover on Instagram. I'll put a link to her Instagram page so you can see what the cover looks like in the back cover. Yeah. The dust jacket of the book. Yeah. Very exciting. It's a fantastic cover.
It's going to be really
cool. Oh my
cool.
gosh, what exciting times. I cannot wait to see that book.
Yes. And then will you be able to order it on I don't know, like Amazon?
Yeah, so it'll be on Amazon.
Great.
She's doing a book launch in the UK, but then it'll be on Amazon for everyone, therefore anyone from abroad. Yeah, I just can't wait, because I think also because we heard a bit about the evolution of it. She talked about how she'd love to on our chit chat with her.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then she goes ahead and does it.
It's just
She's
brilliant.
a doer, isn't she?
She's a
very,
doer.
very cool.
She walks the walk.
She walks the walk. Doesn't just talk the talk. Well, also gorgeous Dwayne from Black in Motion, who is also, well, all these people are on our chit chats, so I don't need to reiterate that.
It's called a chit chat catch up for
that's right.
that reason.
Well, a beautiful post from Dwayne. First of all, if you're not following Dwayne on Instagram or social media, you really must, if you're into social media. Don't just start using social media because of this, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, if all you're watching is Dwayne, he will make you feel happy. His videos, and frankly, just looking at him just makes you feel happy inside.
You do. He's got so true.
Good energy.
He exudes
positivity
and positivity.
Yeah.
First of all, he's very pleasing on the eye, which helps. The most perfect skin. Yeah. I want to know what his skincare regime is.
I do want to know what his skincare regime is.
But second of all, the most gorgeous smile and laugh, which sort of littered throughout all his posts.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're very informative posts.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about him is wonderful. And clearly other people thought so as well.
Yeah.
Because he made this post. I'll read what he says. He said that he's officially heading to the RHS Chelsea Flower Show with the BBC, the RHS and TikTok UK as part of BBC Creator Lab's In Bloom initiative.
Ooh.
He's got exclusive access to create content around the Great Pavilion at Chelsea.
That's going to be awesome.
So he's with a group of other influencers, would you call them? Or content creators, that is the word. Influencers, a whole group of them. I think I had a brief look at who was there, and the only one I recognised was Dwayne, but I'm not up with everything that's going on that front. But Dwayne is going to be there at Chelsea. That's all this week. So if you are going near the Great Pavilion, then head over to Dwayne, give him a big hug or something.
Yes,
high five him. I don't know.
You're Dwayne.
Fist bump.
Fist pump. Don't forget to do the jellyfish afterwards.
But congratulations to you, Dwayne. That's just brilliant.
That is very cool.
I do have one final other piece of chit-chat catch-up, and that is the equally wonderful Dean from Hooton's Nursery. Just to say that they've announced their summer and autumn behind-the-scenes courses, which are available at the nursery, and we need to mention it now because the first one is going to be Monday the 1st of June, 1 till 3:30. The May courses are fully booked, but the next available one's 1st of June. So I'll put a link to that.
Coolio.
You can get on that course. It's $34.99, including refreshments, and 10% of all plants on the day.
Oh, that sounds like a bargain.
Right, sweetie, do you have some No Way news for me?
Yes, so I've got a slightly smaller No Way news because I have a big plant fun fact later. So, do you know... I don't know how to start this. Do you know what arachibutyrophobia is? Arachibutyrophobia.
Is it something to do with
I might not be
spiders?
No.
Is it anything to do... Nowhere near?
Nowhere near.
Okay, say it again.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it. Arachi, C-H-I, arachibutyrophobia, maybe?
Well, if you can't say, I've got no chance because you're good with the names. What could it be? So it starts with Iraq, but it's nothing to do with spiders.
It's nothing to do with spiders.
Is it to do with multi-legged animals?
No, not even.
Is it
slightly.
anything to do with animals?
No.
Right, I don't know. What is it?
So what this is an actual phobia. So it's not a laughing matter whatsoever.
And yet you have been laughing.
I have for some reason. But it is the fear of getting peanut butter stuck to the roof of your mouth.
And that's a very specific phobia, isn't it?
It is. Arachie peanut is the peanut family, kind of arachis or something like that. Butyro is butter, and then phobia is fear of.
Yeah.
whatever. So it's the fear of peanut butter and potentially choking on peanut butter.
Oh,
and it can be quite severe for some people, actually.
I can relate to that. Not with it sticking to the roof of my mouth, but I think I've got a really small esophagus because if I eat peanut butter, it can get stuck and I'll get such a clog. I call it a clog.
Yeah.
That I have to drink water to force it down. And sometimes the water can't even get past it.
I know. Oh my gosh.
And so, I won't be too graphic about what happens.
No.
But it's quite worrying. And I can imagine a phobia occurring from that. Because I wouldn't ever eat peanut butter unless I had something to drink nearby. Although having said that, if I have peanut butter with honey, that seems to lubricate its path down. And so I've had many years on this planet figuring out how I can eat one of my favourite food sources, which is peanut butter. So with honey, I'm all right.
Peanut butter is also really good for you. It has a lot of nutrients in it.
And it's high protein, but it's like a lot of things. If you have too much of that, it's a problem for me. I can't have peanut butter in the house.
We can't.
That jar will be depleted within hours.
It is crazy, actually. I was going to say that one time I came back from uni with a jar of peanut butter and it was gone very quickly. And I was like,
you have to hide it.
I do.
Don't ever come back with a jar of peanut butter. It doesn't last. It's just too good.
Anyways.
Well, that's interesting. What an awful phobia.
It's
peanut butter's so nice.
Generalized phobia of just choking. It's apparently called pseudodysphagia.
Okay.
So that's kind of where you're worried about choking. So it's all about just kind of getting your brain to get over that fear and to go into a calm space when having peanut butter, which I'm sure you do anyway.
That's a really calm place. Eating peanut butter. Oh, yeah, just thinking about it now. Well, that's very interesting.
That's my No Way News for the week. What is yours?
Well, mine is around dentistry, because I had you in mind. I thought
nice.
This might interest you. So a study was done last year, or perhaps the year before, but certainly the results were published last year, around whether ultra-processed foods have an impact on the alignment of your jaw and the development of your jaw.
Oh, interesting.
So the study analysed the diets of young children, finding that those who consumed the more ultra-processed foods had a smaller, less developed jaw.
Yeah.
And the researchers suggested that it was because they are generally eating softer foods and there's less chewing involved.
Precisely. Whereas when you're getting raw foods from the garden, raw vegetables, you really got to use a carrot
straight out the ground. Crunching on that, good for your teeth.
Exactly. All the muscles, all the everything's going to be properly working, and where bone works, then it starts forming a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Laura Marquez Martinez, she's an expert in paediatric dentistry at the Catholic University of Valencia.
Oh, yeah.
And she was also co-author of this study. She said chewing plays a crucial role in the proper development of the jaws as it stimulates bone growth, strengthens facial muscles, and promotes proper dental alignment. Chewing solid and fibrous foods such as fruit, vegetables, or natural proteins exercises the jaw, helping to prevent issues like malocclusion, which is a word you probably know, misalignment of the teeth, and deficiencies in the size and shape of dental arches. On the other hand, diets based on ultra-processed foods, which are soft and require minimal effort to chew, negatively impact jaw development.
So interesting.
It is, but it turned out that there were quite a few holes in the research that was done.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a controlled experiment. There were a lot of assumptions made about the types of food that were being eaten by these children. But it's still, there's method to the madness. It's not the first time.
It's not a completely mad idea just put out there.
Yeah, it's not new news. It's been known for a while that the types of foods you eat can have an impact.
Yeah.
For example, there was a previous study from the University of Kent that supported that theory that many orthodontic problems are caused by dietary changes. It said that this was due to the soft modern diet causing the jaw to grow too short and small relative to the size of the teeth. So a spokesperson of the British Orthodontic Society, or the BOS, looked into that study that was done last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they said that it was well documented and known that the softer foods lead to jaw and dental changes over time, but also genetics play a significant role. So eating harder foods, eating all your carrots, isn't going to solve all your orthodontic problems if you're predisposed genetically.
You can't change anything about that.
No, exactly. They said that it very, softer foods. So if you eat baby foods really all your life, which is what ultra processed foods can be similar to in consistency and all the rest of it, if that's what you're going to do all your life over a significant amount of time, that will then start to change the structure and development.
So interesting.
And they did go on to say that it's still important not to eat the HPFs, the high processed foods, because they, more often than not, even the savoury ones, contain a huge amount of sugar. So there's a huge potential for decay from these foods if you are consuming them. I don't think there's any, if you were to write pros and cons of highly processed foods,
a single pro.
The pro, I guess, is cheap.
And
that's probably why.
Tastes good.
Because it's cheap to manufacture, it's churned out, it's, and they put all the addictive things in there, like the sugars, the salts, all of that, to just make you want to have them. So you see a tube of Pringles, you immediately salivate because it's just full of all those chemicals. They really do finely tune the balance of chemicals that they put into a Pringle to make sure that you want more of it. You're never satiated by a tube of Pringles, half a tube of Pringles. How many Pringles you might eat in one sitting?
Whole tube.
A whole tube.
A whole tube I did once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you felt rubbish after that.
I felt so awful. I felt depressed, frankly.
Exactly. Your poor digestive system trying to deal with that stodge coming through.
I was having a frankly all right day.
Oh, no.
So I just brought myself down when I thought I was buying myself a treat.
No.
It's not a treat. You're not treating
your body. You're being really mean to yourself,
being really, really mean.
But yeah, so interesting that it's starting to impact the shape of humans' jaws. I could see that happening, of course. And we know that if you've got a narrower jaw, the knock-on effect is then breathing problems, respiratory problems. Sleep apnea is caused by narrower jaws. And, crowded mouths and all that sort of thing.
I've got we've both got a wide jaw, haven't we?
I don't know. Do I look like I got a wide jaw?
We're both currently, as we said that, we both just started smiling really toothy grins at each other. It's quite creepy.
Anyway, that's my no news. I will put a link to that article on our
fantastic
website.
Oh yeah, I will also be putting a link to peanut butter stuff as well.
Great stuff.
That's a good point on that front.
What's your plant fun fact for this week?
Well, this might give you a heart attack because it is so bloomin' awesome. It's very, very cool. So, scientists have found a way to use a spinach leaf to build a working human heart. Have you heard of this before?
I have not.
Well, it's so incredible the way that they do this. So scientists have been looking over the years at the problems. There are so many problems around the heart. Scientists have been looking how they can recreate a human heart so that we could kind of fix anyone who has a deficient heart and fix it with more tissue or whatever. But the problem was there wasn't enough vascular system in the new tissue that we were adding, so the tissue would just die because obviously the vascular system helps kind of oxygen. The blood takes the oxygen to the tissues and then the tissues can live, and that's how it works. So they couldn't figure out how to create synthetically these vascular systems. They could make the tissue kind of taking bits of human cells, and so they they
from
kind of
elsewhere in the body.
Yeah, from elsewhere in the body, they create a colony. Then they can just build a tissue like that, and that's kind of how they've done things with bone, for example. Yeah. Just all types of things they've been able to do. But the heart is very difficult because it has to have a huge vascular system.
Right.
And so one day they were looking at spinach leaves, and spinach leaves, you can see the vascular system, the veins going through the leaves.
Of course.
And they started wondering if they could somehow use a spinach leaf. So what they did was, first of all, depleted the leaf entirely of any of its cells, so that all that was left was just the cellulose holding it together.
Wow.
And cellulose is biocompatible and has been used before in regenerative medicines, so that for cartilage,
right,
tissue engineering, bone tissue, wound healing. So it's been used loads of times before. And what it looks like, if you remember what a filmy fern looks like, the unicellular fern.
Yes.
Really, really thin and
translucent,
kind of gel-ish looking.
Yeah.
Almost. Well, it looks like that, but even more transparent.
Wow.
Just about holds itself together. Absolutely incredible. And then, so once they've completely depleted all the cells from it, and so it's just this coat of cellulose that we find in plants and everywhere, then they would start building the colony of human tissue cells on top of this cellulose, so around it, to create, frankly, what looks like a human heart. It looks absolutely incredible. It looks like an aorta. And then they did little experiments where they would pump through it. It was microbeads and fluids,
right,
to kind of work in the way blood does through the vessels, because obviously red blood cells, all that kind of stuff. So they're using these microbeads as red blood cells. And they would pump it through the kind of main stem, and then they would watch as it would filter through and see if it would go through like it would veins and arteries in the body, and it did entirely. And you can see this fantastic video, so it's on the National Geographic website. I've got a link for it, and you can see a video of them kind of pumping what looks like, frankly, red food dye, and you can see as it works its way through all the veins and all the little bits in the leaf that was once a spinach leaf, and then is going to be used. They're seeing if it can be used to actually recreate or build back up heart tissue in a deficient human heart. So that is very big news.
Isn't that amazing?
Heart surgery in the future.
And spinach,
frankly. At the end of the day, whoopee for spinach.
Isn't that incredible?
How cool is that?
Gosh, I'm having to sort of close my mouth. I'm in awe of that.
Absolutely. The article obviously says it far more succinctly than I did, but that is what I think you explained that really
well.
It's absolutely fascinating. So
how fascinating.
Big things. We're going places with hearts and spinach at the moment.
Lots of spinach. But that is just incredible, isn't it? That's unbelievably amazing what these people researching that kind of groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what's your animal fun fact?
My animal fun fact. Well, do you know what parthenogenesis means?
Oh,
you've probably come across
this word so many times, and I don't think I've ever realised what it means.
So it's a form of asexual reproduction where an embryo develops with an unfertilised egg. So you can get that in lizards, for example, and some fish.
Epic.
Amphibians.
Why can't we do that?
And literally translated, parthenogenesis means, it's from Greek, it means virgin creation.
That is so cool. Wouldn't it be cool if humans could do that?
Well, gets interesting because it's not been seen in the mammalian world until, I was going to say recently, but actually this article is from 2018.
No, that's not recent.
I think the research was from about 2004.
Oh.
So, and I don't know why I've never heard about it, but anyway, we're hearing about it now. What scientists have been able to do is they've managed to create a bimaternal mouse with basically using two mum mice. No males involved in this whatsoever. And what's particularly interesting about this is that the baby mouse produced from the two mum mice lives 50% longer than from a mum and a dad.
Are you
mouse.
serious?
So they achieved it by using genetic engineering and stem cells to bypass the natural necessity of sperm. And through that process found that they kind of uncovered some insights into the biology of aging and reproduction. So mammalian reproduction typically requires genetic material from both a male and a female. So to make the mouse with two mothers, they used the stem cells from one female mouse, modified their genetic imprinting, and injected them into the unfertilized egg of the second female.
Okay, interesting.
And the reason why they live 50% longer is I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a minute. But their longevity is because of how certain genes are switched on depending on the parents. So paternal genes, which come from the sperm, obviously, they typically promote rapid growth in the offspring early in life, which can sometimes result in this shorter lifespan. So you might be bigger, but you live less long.
Oh yeah, because your cells are replicating more, and therefore they're aging more.
Yeah, exactly. So by eliminating the male DNA and reprogramming those maternal genes, the mice will grow smaller, but they live for 50% longer.
I absolutely love that. That's so
I love it
fascinating.
too. I mean, the reason why I'm smiling through it is because it doesn't bode well for man, does it?
It doesn't, frankly.
Poor man, having a tough
feel
time.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, they obviously are considering, can this happen with humans as well? There's
going to be a lot of law around that.
Immoral to be doing it right now, but laws change all the time, and you just need some immoral people at the top of the chain, don't you? And
of course,
all sorts of things start happening. But very interesting that it's possible at all in the world of mammals. Yeah,
that is absolutely fascinating.
Well, sweetie, shall we have a look at Gardener's World?
Yes, we should.
This is Gardener's World 2026, Episode 10 Recap.
Off we go!
Well, we're back at Longmeadow, aren't we, with Monty? And he's in the very packed jewel garden.
Holy moly, it's packed. It's always packed at this time of year. It's like our garden. It's just like so much foliage, and then flowers are just coming up.
Fun times.
Looks amazing. So he's staking, especially delphiniums.
Yeah.
Because they can get really tall and lanky. And he said it's better to stake now before anything happens and gets too leggy.
Yeah.
So that you're not kind of showing the stake so much.
You hide them better, don't you?
Can hide
all the
them
foliage covers them up.
Exactly.
And actually, did we get our idea for stakes from him? Because we
metal.
use this. We buy the metal.
Yeah, metal rods.
Metal rods, bend them into shape. It's a heck of a lot cheaper than buying any pre-made.
It's so cheap.
Supports, isn't it?
That's absolutely fantastic.
Then he goes over to the mound and he's got that new paved terrace, which is absolutely lovely. What a nice spot that would be to sit on.
Really nice.
I think it's a really good change to the garden, isn't it?
Yeah, I really like that. And he's potting up 2 big pots, actually, which he's going to create a little display in, the pillar, filler and spiller. And he says that these plants do like poor soil, so he's putting in a mix of peat-free compost, recycled compost, leaf mould and sieved garden compost.
And some grit.
And grit as well, very important for drainage. So crock in the bottom as per usual. And then he's putting in his pillar, which is Phlomis russeliana, his filler, which is Festuca glauca intense blue. And then his spillers are Petunia yellow dream, because obviously we have to keep in the theme
blues
of the mound,
and yellows,
obviously, and then lobelias as well in that lovely blue colour.
Yeah, crams them in. He says, "Don't worry about overplanting, because they're not going to last that long anyway, basically." And then we get to see Adam's new garden. I've been looking forward to this. See what he's been up to. He's been moving in over winter, getting things sorted.
Quite wet and soggy.
This film was done in March, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So the things he's done, he's built the fences down the side. Yep. He's laid hardcore for the terraces. There was already a seating area in there.
That was nice.
That looked nice. And he's levelled the different garden spaces. Yeah, and kind of he's planted loads of trees.
Yes, he's really put in the foundations of what one would call the gardening foundations.
Yeah.
Just putting in those trees and those shrubs so that you can then put in the herbaceous plants and the rest of the perennials and annuals, etc.
And then he talks about his bare root hornbeam hedge.
Yeah.
Which he planted, which is looking just great.
Just really healthy.
And then we see Ash walking along the fence, and he looked so settled in, didn't he, in his new abode.
I'm
very
happy.
Nice patch for him.
Yeah.
And then this was interesting because Adam talks no dig. He said if you move into a new build or a site where you really haven't an idea of what's going on, digging it makes sense to check over the soil. So he single digs, which is where he builds a trench, puts the contents into border, then he fills the trench with well-rotted manure.
Yeah.
But you can use your own compost. And then he does another trench and he continues this cycle. So basically digs up the entire garden.
Exactly.
I'm not sure what the single dig element of the dig.
I think the fact that you're doing it one trench at a time,
that's the single part.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
The fact that you're not just going with your rotavator across.
Oh, that isn't
just
single
going,
digging. I see. And just
trench.
taking forever. And he makes the point that if you've got bindweed roots in there and you use a rotavator, it'll chop them up into 30 pieces of root, which gives you 30 new bindweed plants.
Yeah, exactly. Which is annoying, but oh my gosh,
back-breaking work
of having to take every single sprig of bindweed. I couldn't do that. That seems like one of those tasks which would just take millions of years, frankly.
Millions of years. The alternative then is no dig, where he would lay over the whole lot with cardboard.
Yep.
Then he'd put some nice compost on top, or wet the cardboard, put the compost on top and leave it, and then that cardboard layer will smother all those roots.
Yeah.
And by the time that's rotted away, it's killed everything off underneath.
Yeah, and frankly, I'd rather do that. Anyways, he does then go around to the front. I didn't know he had a front yard area, but of course he has a front yard area. And it's kind of a nice little courtyard, and he is putting in some really mahoosive pots.
Oh my gosh.
Get terracotta pots like
I was slightly shocked by that because he was crouching down behind it. I reckon you could fit an Adam into one of those pots.
Oh,
you might get the top of his head sticking out.
That would be so cool.
But also, depending how flexible he is, you might not even get the head sticking out.
Yeah,
if you just tangle his legs around his...
The leg round his kind of up around his neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that gives you an idea of how big the pots were.
Yeah, they were big. And he was putting into these pots some really big plants as well. They were Osmanthus cross Burke woodii. And he was going to be cloud pruning them, I think is what I heard him say. And I was like, my gosh, yes!
Yes.
I love cloud pruning. I find it the most satisfying and tranquil type of pruning you could have in a garden.
Beautiful. Monty's on the same page as Adam regarding the single digging. He did the same at Longmeadow.
Yeah, he did. And then he shows us his cow parsley, which looks amazing, and that's in the writing garden. That's kind of what the writing garden is based around. And then, of course, there are daffodils and tulips as well.
And Monty thinks cow parsley is the most beautiful flower in the world.
Yeah.
The humble cow parsley. Your grandmother doesn't. She gets really bad hay fever from it.
Oh, does she?
Really bad, yeah.
Wow. That's interesting because you get really bad hay fever from willow. And then I get really bad hay fever from mainly grass, frankly.
Yeah, all grass everywhere.
Why are we all so different?
It's very strange, isn't it?
Very strange. Anyways, then he also talks about his Leucojum aestivum. That's the summer snowflake.
Yes, a bit of a thug. Loves clay.
Yeah, and just spreads everywhere, frankly.
Damp and shady.
Yeah, exactly. And also it will stay really leafy.
Long, really slow, dying back phase.
Exactly, which is a pain in the butt cheeks, frankly, at this point, because you can't have just this green mess of floppy leaves everywhere.
No, he wants to free up some space, doesn't he?
So he's
digging some out.
Digging some up, then you can just kind of brush them off, put them in a pot. Or...
He's putting them in the orchard, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And then, or you can kind of dry off the bulbs and store them for next year and put them somewhere else. So that's another way of doing it. And he also has Ammi, wild carrot and lovage that he's wanting to put in there.
Right. And then we go to a forager.
Yes.
This is Liz Knight in her garden in South Herefordshire.
And we're very happy about this. You were very happy about this because you rushed out to the garden immediately afterwards.
To check out some of the weeds that we have that could be eaten. We just munch our way through. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this segment. I hung off Liz's every word.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed hearing what one can take from the garden or whilst foraging out in the wild and make something nutritious is the big thing, is how nutritious a lot of these foods are. And then of course, they're free. And then, sustainable.
Of course, they're beautiful. And they make everything look so much more beautiful.
Yeah.
Because at the end, they show a beautiful arrangement of all the different dishes she's made with all her different foraged plants.
Gorgeous.
And it just looks really, really pretty.
Well, first off, Liz talks about ground elder. This was music to my ears because we have a lot of ground elder. She embraces it for the flowers.
Yeah.
And it is, like she said, it's just kind of a mindset change, isn't it? If you can look past all the trauma you have when ground elder's in the vicinity then you can learn to love it and see it as a benefit. So she likes to get the flowers. She'll use it as a cut flower, but also it's very important for the pollinators, and it is a delicious food.
Yeah.
And she makes a pesto with it.
She does.
And this particular pesto she did with lemon, garlic, and pistachio nuts in a pestle and mortar.
Pistachio and pesto is really, really good. Actually, I've had a few shop-bought ones before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wondered if the nuts would be quite expensive. Aren't pistachios quite expensive?
Yeah, they're very expensive.
And she puts those on the carrots as a bit of a glaze. Loved that idea. We do have a lot of it. I will keep pulling it up in the places we don't want it. But if there's areas where I think actually that would look nice if it started to flower, and then we can harvest it.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely doing that this year. And what it does is takes a huge weight off my shoulders and makes me relax more about its presence in the garden.
Yeah, frankly takes a weight off my back because the amount of times I've almost killed myself having to rip these things out the ground because they're so wedged in there, and you're pulling and pulling and pulling.
The worst thing for me, I have to be honest, is the smell. And probably because I've associated the smell with a plant that I don't like.
That's a good
so
point.
Hopefully I can turn that smell around and think of it as a good smell, especially if I'm going to try and make a pesto from it.
And your crazy sense of smell.
My crazy sense of smell. And then she makes the very, very, very important point, and this should be absolutely at the top of her segment and repeated at the bottom, and a flashing red sign coming across.
Yeah, in big
saying, only pick plants you're absolutely sure about, because we know that there is the water hemlock, for example, which is so lethal. Completely lethal. It's a pretty plant. It can look a bit like, I think it can look a bit like parsley, that kind of thing.
Interesting.
So, but it's completely, that's it. It's curtains a goner if you have even the tiniest bit. So,
gosh,
that's growing quite a bit in the UK.
Yeah, it's quite the same as mushroom foraging. We've had a few friends who have been quite into that.
Yeah.
And there can be some problems.
And I would like to be into it, but I don't trust my knowledge.
I don't trust my knowledge even after having really looked into it.
Yeah. Well, some of the other plants that Liz talks about, she says Jack by the hedge, which is also known as garlic mustard.
Or Arachibutyrophobia petiolata.
Right. I think that's what I've been calling white dead nettles.
Yes,
and we've had those growing wild in along our dead hedge, for example. Yeah. They've cropped up for the first time this year in our garden, and I really like them. They're the ones I said, I think, last week, that they give that nice woodland vibe opposite your foxgloves.
Yes.
So I'm pleased with those. And now, turns out, they are edible because they have a sort of a garlicky, oniony, mustardy flavour to them. All flavours that I adore.
Great in a potato salad, apparently.
I'm absolutely harvesting all of this, by the way.
Yeah.
Honesty is another one, and we have that in abundance. We're practically growing a huge crop of these.
And the seeds apparently, and we've got them now since season, taste like wasabi.
Which we love.
Love
so
that.
much. You can eat the flowers and the leaves, can eat everything, can't you, on Honesty. Then there's what she called it, Dittander?
Dittander, yes. Dittander. Also, remember, the plant list will be sent to you via email if you are subscribed, so
absolutely
don't need to worry about writing it down. Sweepy's got your back.
So do subscribe.
Do subscribe
if you want that. But this is found in coastal areas, she said, generally.
Yeah, got a really punch of flavour, so that's a nice kind of almost a spice that you'd put in.
And then lots of ornamentals are edible as well. So you've got roses.
Yes.
Very different flavours for all the different types.
Exactly.
You can pick them whole and freeze them, and then you bring them out of the freezer. They crush up.
So pretty.
You can stir them into sort of creams and with fruits, strawberries, she said.
It looks so pretty. That red and that pink together looked incredible of that dish.
Gorgeous.
I love that.
Then Liz does mention that she has early stage cancer. And she has found that for her mental health, the foraging has really brought her a lot of peace. So even in the depths of winter, she's found it brings her that strength at a time of year when it's easy to, at the best of times, to get very down, let alone when you're fighting something like that.
Yeah.
Her cancer is treatable, but she said you do still have to face your own mortality, and she's convinced it's thanks to foraging that she's been able to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
She also talks about eating her hostas, which I thought was wonderful.
For some reason, I thought that hostas were poisonous. I don't know where that thought came from.
The reason I love it, I love this whole competition, competing with the snails. These little blighters that are the biggest problem when you've got hostas. It's always about the snails.
They're real douchebags, aren't
And then
they?
you've got Liz coming along and chomping on the hostas before the snails get to them.
Snails just going,
brilliant.
Oh, come on.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Anyway, she said that in Japan it's really commonly eaten.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
It has a similar flavour to asparagus.
Yeah.
And she showed a quiche with them in. And I love asparagus in quiche.
I love an asparagus quiche.
So
especially with salmon.
We have to start growing hostas, sweetie.
Okay, we're going to have to try and figure that out because we are dry as heck.
Well, let me tell you about Liz. She is a UK-based wild food teacher and author. And when she was in her 20s, she bought a second-hand wildflower ID book and found that the previous owner had scribbled notes in all the margins about how to eat the plants in the book.
Oh, sweet.
And that's what opened her eyes to it. And then she just became hooked on that. So she's now spreading the word.
Oh, cool.
She has a website called Forage Fine Foods. And on that, she offers half-day and full-day courses. And one of the things that she offers is to come to your garden and take a walk around your garden and tell you all the things that you can and can't eat.
That would be really, really cool.
Isn't that a great idea?
How fun for her as well. She gets to go to everyone's gardens.
Yeah, I love that
would
idea.
Be brilliant.
And she's also written 3 books herself, hasn't she, Hobbs?
really agrees on that one.
One is called Wild Drinks, and it covers 50 wild plants that can be turned into various drinks, be that cordials, teas, liqueurs, infusions, all that sort of thing. The other book she's written is called Forage, and it's an introduction to 50 common wild plants you can eat with 150 recipes, plus all the stories and sort of history of the plants.
Very cool.
And then her third book is called Buds and Blossoms, and that takes you through a year in the garden looking at 20 plants that you might not know are edible, such as magnolia, lilac, peony, daylily we know about.
Yeah.
I didn't know about peonies.
Didn't know about peonies.
So I'll put a link to her website, but also those 3 books as well. They're available from bookshops and also on Amazon.
Fantastic. We're back with Monty, and he is very, very happy about his viburnums.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
Looking very pretty, and 2 very different kinds. You wouldn't think they were in the same family.
So different.
Very cool. So we have Viburnum plicatum marizii, and that creates just these nice tiers of flowers, very flat, horizontal flowers. Whereas then Viburnum opulus, that has proper pom-pom balls, and when they're really, really tight, they're lime green, and that's what we have in our garden.
We have those.
Yeah.
They can look a bit like a hydrangea, can't they? And
they can.
And they do, as you say, they change lime green to the lovely white.
Exactly. And then we do go over to this flooded area, well, an area that gets flooded quite a bit in Monty's garden. Couldn't quite tell where it was, but anyways, on a north-facing bit of it, he said that he's going to be putting in ligularias because they're great for this area.
Yeah, they thrive there.
Quite shady, and they shoot up these tall shoots of spires of just golden flowers. Very, very pretty.
He says basically wherever hostas thrive, these will also thrive.
Precisely. They go hand in hand. So he put in Ligularia the rocket and Ligularia przewelskii. You'll understand when you see how it's written, people. That was not an easy one. I mean, come on. Since when do we put PRZ? Where's the przewelskii? Anyways, and then he gives them a good soak in. And there we go.
There we go.
That's awesome.
We head up to Cumbria.
We do.
And we're looking at auriculas being prepared for the Chelsea Flower Show by David and Gail at Somerdale House in the South Lake District.
And they have over 500 varieties in there.
Amazing. I love it when Gail says, we find the wind quite a challenge. I find David's grumbling about the wind an even greater challenge.
I get that. We're the same.
Completely relatable, wasn't it? I really guffawed when she said that.
Yeah.
They've been there for 30 years, and when they first got the place, it was full of brambles, and they needed to get lots of plants in the ground. So Gail started propagating in earnest, and she filled the garden, and then they had more plants than they could plant, and so they opened a nursery. Sounds reasonable.
Exactly. Sounds completely reasonable.
The auriculas themselves are divided into categories. There's alpine auriculas, which are subdivided into light-scented and gold-scented.
Yep.
The border auriculas, those have been growing for a long time in cottage gardens, apparently. The double auriculas, which I thought were beautiful.
Absolutely stunning.
Yes, they are my favourite auriculas, I would say.
There's one actually that comes up later, which I really liked.
I haven't seen the doubles before. Or if I did, I didn't know it was an auricula.
Yeah, very true.
And then the show auriculas, and those are subdivided into selfs, which have solid petal colours, stripes, and then edges.
Exactly.
Gail then ponders on what her favourite one is, and as we know with, everyone, it's impossible to find a favourite one, but she points to Strawberry Fields.
Yeah.
Just that one, but I think that was just a throwaway. That one there.
That one, I think it just happened to catch her eye and she was like, okay, maybe that one.
And also Twiggy.
Very, very cute. These were selfs, so they had solid petals, which she did really, really like.
1,600 plants that they've collected together for potential. Just for potential, just show at Chelsea Flower Show.
Maybe these ones.
And then they explain that auriculas, they're not tricky to grow. There's just two things that they hate. One is the midday sun in the summer, and the other is getting very very wet in winter.
Yeah.
They can be grown in the garden, but they struggle a bit where they are up in Cumbria. So they have them in the tunnels.
Exactly.
They are susceptible to vine weevils, root aphids, and other diseases.
Yeah, which sounds like a lot.
It's too much for me.
Far too much for me. And then this was incredible. The fact that the auriculas were already blooming, but they need them to be blooming perfectly on time for Chelsea, which obviously would have been like a few weeks back filming for them, I'm sure, whenever. So they had to create all these different methods of how to stop the plants from doing what they need to do. Keep them in bud. And one of their tactics was just popping them in the fridge.
Yeah, at 4 degrees.
The auriculas in there were probably just going, oh my gosh, what are you trying to do to us? Poor things.
Poor things, but also poor Gail and David, because they did say they've been nervous for the last 2 months. They've been having anxiety dreams. You can imagine all of that and more, can't you?
And also, they're going to have that if sheep also break into the nursery.
And eat everything.
Can you imagine Greg Anderton? He'd have an absolute hysteric. It'd be hysterics.
It's really not the place for him, is it? Well, they then put together an auricular theatre at the end. David goes, ta-da!
Yeah, that was really cool. And they put in there my absolute favourite auricula that they showed and that I've frankly ever seen was Primula auricula piglet.
Remind me what that looked like.
That was the really cute double dusky pink one.
Dusky pink.
Absolutely stunning.
Gorgeous.
Loved it because it wasn't garish. It was just so subtle but beautiful at the same time.
And then just when you think you can breathe, we then hear about the transport issues that they're going to encounter. So
crazy.
Their plan is to cram them all into the car, whack the aircon on high, drive up with woolly hats, gloves, scarves and big North Face coats on.
Yeah.
And get all their auriculas up there ready for Chelsea Flower Show.
That's like what I have to do when I've got frozen food in the car. And I have a long drive.
A tough journey. Well, David and Gail Sheals have more than just the nursery there. They've got the most beautiful garden as well. They've got 1.5 acres and it is open through the NGS.
Oh, cool.
And as always, I like to read what's in the NGS little write-up because it gives a good insight, doesn't it? Into
good
what's
idea.
Going on. 1.5 acre pot-walled country garden set around an 18th century former vicarage. Several defined areas have been created by hedges, each with its own theme and linked by intricate cobbled pathways. Relaxed natural planting in a formal structure. Rural setting with fine views across to Farleton Fell. And I'll, of course, put a link to that in case you want to visit that garden.
Brilliant. Sweeping back to Monty, and he's showing off his Charlotte potatoes and radishes as well. Those are in the beds outside. And then he also shows a comparison with the seed potatoes that he had put inside in just one of those big black buckets that you can do, and then you just kind of mound up.
And they were in his greenhouse, were they?
They were in the greenhouse, and the foliage was quite a bit more advanced.
Quite leggy.
Compared to the foliage, which was really short and dense outside. So it just showed what different conditions can do to a plant.
Yeah. And regardless, you must earth up because otherwise
Yeah.
your potato tubers go green and they're poisonous.
Absolutely. So I do think I'll need to put some compost
Definitely.
onto our potatoes.
Have we got some compost?
Possibly. I'll find some somewhere.
But his radishes are looking good, aren't they?
Yeah, they look incredible.
Harvesting those.
He said you can just put those, do it a la French way and put some butter.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, a la French.
A la French way.
His leeks are looking good too, aren't they?
Yeah.
Those were done from seed.
The Lancia variety.
And he was doing them in pots,
in
which
blocks.
reminded me of Farida Sober, who does hers in sea snails.
She does.
Which are hugely successful.
Like do have a look at that.
And then he's planting his leeks into the ground and he's doing them at about 6 inches apart. Just a quick thing. Do you know what the tool is called that he uses all the time and was using for his leeks? And we see him use this everywhere. And we've also seen Adam use the same thing.
Is it a dibber?
Nope, it's called a Dutch planting spade.
Because they use it for their bulbs, do they?
I don't know why it's called a Dutch planting spade. I just assumed it's a planting spade from Dutchland.
Dutchland. Oh my gosh.
But it's apparently around 60 or 70 pounds, but is a really versatile tool, Adam was saying on a podcast recently.
So much.
He said he's been criticised for using it, but he said, we'll use it for everything. Literally everything.
God.
Anyway, I digress. We then join Frances, who's gone to Waltham Place in Berkshire with Estate Manager André Tranquilini. Tranquilini.
I thought he was French, but obviously
Brazil.
not. Oh.
He's from Brazil. André Tranquilini.
Yeah, that makes entire sense.
Waltham Place, there are 220 acres there where every decision is guided by the quiet, unseen rhythms of biodynamics. And this does relate back to what we talked about earlier about our chit-chat guest and how it's something we're working on a bit in our veg garden. André explains that biodynamic gardening is where you create a self-sustaining garden where all the different elements are in synergy and all in balance.
You used that word the other day and I said I really like that word. He said I feel like all the plants are just working in synergy now. Our garden is working with us in synergy. And I was like, I love
so ahead of Gardener's World all the time.
Oh my
Anywho, instead of weeding things out, allow things to express themselves.
You take a step back and you look.
We go into the potager and there's so much happening in there, so many flowers. It's absolutely rampacked, isn't it?
There are buttercups and docks just growing everywhere. And frankly, the docks look really pretty with the flowers.
This first time a dock I thought looked rather nice, actually.
I know.
And as André says, it's naturally evolving. They plug in a few annuals here and there, but it's mostly self-seeding. In the kitchen garden, this was interesting. They step over from the potager, which is rampacked and everything going on.
Yeah.
I assumed the ethos would continue through.
Yep.
Then to the kitchen garden, but then you had a very traditional straight lines, sowed in straight lines, your rows of lettuce. It looked like what you'd expect to see in a kitchen garden. I was thinking it was going to be a bit of everything, a bit like our chit-chat guest, where you'd have your five veg in one bed plus an aromatic herb. So
I was surprised. I couldn't understand what had happened.
There was real order.
It felt too
ordered.
Just too kind of in place.
They did talk about those beds, the planting they do at the ends of the beds.
Yeah, which is the kind of general mix of plants. But I couldn't understand why they weren't putting it in the bed. So I don't know what was going on there. But very interesting. Apparently they grow everything from cucumber crystal lemons to chard. So they're keeping the whole business alive.
60 varieties of veg in that kitchen garden.
Oh my gosh, yes. And it also was showing the beetroot, which were looking absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
Perfectly round beetroot.
Perfect beetroot, weren't they? And Frances asks about the element of biodynamic gardening where you're doing tasks according to the lunar calendar. And so André explains that just as the moon has an influence on tides and water and human bodies, it does also on plant saps. So they tend to sow their seeds just before a full moon. So leading up to that, including the full moon days, they can really see an increase in the germination.
Interesting.
And then another element for them to consider is when do you transplant? So the calendar suggests for 2 weeks of the month it's ideal transplanting time. In the Northern Hemisphere, of course. Got to consider that, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because the moon is closer to the Earth, so the gravitational pull is stronger, and this is an ideal time for the roots to develop.
Yes.
And when asked if you're sceptical about it, what does André suggest? And very relaxed, he says, well, just try it. Give it a go. See what happens.
See what you like. See
Compare
what works with your garden.
Yeah. What are your results?
Exactly. I like that. It's not like you should do this, you should do that.
Which again is what we've been doing over the last few years, is trying out different techniques.
Just seeing what works.
Seeing what works, what doesn't.
Frankly, seeing how you work with your garden. If you're the type who wants to be constantly out there all the time, or if you don't have time for that, like we do, frankly.
And then one thing he says about those beetroots is that you can tell the difference between a biodynamically grown veg and another by the sound of it. He says by the rustle he can tell the vitality of the plant.
Interesting.
Then he talks about nettle tea and comfrey tea.
Yeah, and we're like, bosh, done it. Done 2 weeks ago. And then Frances does go over finally to see the rest of the team, because of course biodynamics also involves having a team, human element, the socialising. And so she talks a bit to the team who are also planting the Anthemis tinctoria, I think it's called golden chamomile. And they
dyer's chamomile as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's using specifically for dyeing clothes and fabrics.
They said they're using it for biodynamic certified textiles.
Very cool.
Which I didn't know was a thing.
No.
And then when asked how we can do this in our own gardens, André says that he encourages people to compost, which is actually the opposite of what our chit-chat guest says. So that's an interesting comparison.
Yeah.
And he says if you don't have access to the materials for enough of your own compost, join composting schemes. And then increase biodiversity in the garden. Set aside at least 20% of your growing space for it.
Yeah, very interesting.
Well, André's been the manager at Waltham Place since 2018. Originally, he's from Brazil. And he's worked extensively as a market gardener, a Steiner school teacher, and a farmer, and is a founding member of the biodynamic seed company Living Seeds in Portugal. He's worked on farms in Brazil, Portugal, and the UK. And he's travelled widely teaching workshops and lecturing on biodynamics. So this is all encompassing for him.
Crikey, yeah.
And he's recognised as a biodynamic consultant by the International Biodynamic Agriculture section at the Goethe Annum in Switzerland. And the Goethe Annum is this building in Switzerland which was built. Do you know much about Steiner, Rudolf Steiner?
That rings a bell.
You've probably heard of Steiner schools. Yes. I actually considered a Steiner school for you when you were very young. I had a look at them.
Did you?
They're quite a different. It's quite a different philosophy to your mainstream schooling. It's really quite holistic, and it's where you sort of take all elements of a child. So it would be not just the intellectual side. It's also looking at the artistic side,
why didn't
the
you send
practical
me there?
Side, and bringing it all together.
Oh, I would have
so it's quite a nice
that.
philosophy. But that was started by Rudolf Steiner, an Austrian. And he built that building in Switzerland, and it continued building even through the world wars. So and it's quite an unusual looking building. But anyway,
oh, how fantastic!
This sort of whole biodynamic way of growing and gardening, goes very hand in hand with that Steiner philosophy. So it all sort of makes sense when there's that element to what André does as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool.
Well, not to be outdone, Monty shows his mass of nettles.
Yeah, he's like, look at me.
Sweet. Look at my nettles. And he's harvesting, because he wouldn't really describe his style of gardening as this biodynamic style, I would say.
Even slightly. It's almost polar opposite.
But it's very sweet of him to show us his nettles. And he's harvesting some for plant food.
Yeah.
As they are, we know, very high in nitrogen.
Exactly.
And he makes his nettle feed. So you chop it all up with shears to increase the surface area, so it'll break down quicker when you put it in the liquid. He puts it into a bucket.
I didn't do that, and it worked out pretty fine, so don't worry.
Not chopping it up. I think you ripped it up a bit though, didn't you?
Nope, not even that. I didn't want to touch them.
No, that's true. Then he covers it with water right up to the top. Something you did was you put a brick on top, didn't you? To
weigh them down so that they kind of compost and weigh to the bottom.
And then you leave those for 3 to 4 weeks, strain it off, and then you use it. You dilute it when you use it.
Yes, it is it's a concentrate, so you do not want to put that immediately onto a plant. Oof,
nope.
It would burn it.
Then we have jobs for the weekend. So cut back dahlias.
Yeah.
I thought, what?
Since when?
But you're pinching out essentially, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Sow carrots and tie in your clematis.
Yeah.
Right then, your favourite plant from the episode, Sweet Pea?
It was the piglet auricula.
Aha.
Loved it.
Which was a double auricula, and I just put double auriculas.
I really...
Yeah, because they took me totally by surprise.
They took me by surprise. I didn't realise how cute and not just kind of brash they were. They were just dainty.
Auriculas fascinate me, and I love to look at them. I'm not a huge fan of them generally, because they look like a drawing a child has done, or they look like the sort of plant you'd see on, a futuristic film like Avatar, that kind of thing.
Point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they absolutely fascinate me.
Yeah.
But they don't do anything for me beyond just fascination.
But
the double ones I thought were very pretty.
Really pretty. Yeah, I absolutely love those.
It's opened my mind to auriculas more.
And your top takeaway?
Mine was the foraging of honesty and hostas and the jack by the hedge.
Yeah.
Let me at them. I'm going for my grand elder.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to regret growing in our garden now because I'm just eating the lot. I'm going to eat my way through the weeds. I wonder if you can eat bindweed. She didn't mention it, so I won't try it, but we'll see. Perhaps that's housekeeping for next week.
Very cool.
Well, what's your top takeaway?
Mine is just biodynamics. Just that whole understanding of the moon and all that stuff. And
the moon.
The moon. Tonight, minions, we steal the moon. Everyone knows that.
That old classic.
Classic. But I just really liked it, and I just like the whole ethos of just stepping back and understanding your garden.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was very cool.
Me too.
And frankly, it means you can be a little more lazy.
You don't use the L word, though.
The L word? Oh, are we saying it's the L word now?
Yeah. You don't want to say that it's because you're lazy. You want it all to be, this is all how it was meant to be.
Well, my maths teacher was a fantastic teacher, but she said I am lazy, so if I can find a quicker way to solve an equation, I will.
Well, so I think it's pretty useful then to be lazy.
There we go.
And the final scene, which I absolutely loved, gosh, it made me love Monty more. I can't love Ned anymore.
No,
but
Ned's
the interaction between the two of them was adorable. Oh gosh! And then Monty tells that story. So he's basically bouncing a ball to Ned. Yeah. Ned's making all sorts of grumbly noises like Hobbs does, catching the ball, depositing it back with Monty. And apparently Monty has this on a regular basis over breakfast. He's trying to eat his breakfast toast, and then this really slimy, soggy ball gets chucked in his lap because Ned wants to play. It's such a beautiful image, isn't it, of Monty at his breakfast table with that going on.
It's really sweet. And frankly, one of the most lively things that has happened on Gardener's World.
So sweet.
Very sweet.
Well, as Monty mentioned, we don't have a Gardener's World next Friday because we've got Chelsea Flower Show all week. So if you feel you're missing out, don't, because you can watch a programme every single day. And you'll see the presenters and you'll see gardens and plants. Also, lots of celebrities. It's become a very, very
like
celebrity-filled place, isn't it? But there will be a Gardener's World then the following week. So I can tell you what's going to be on that episode. It's episode 11. It's on Friday, 29th of May.
Cool.
With summer just around the corner, Monty is bringing bold colour to the garden, planting gingers and cannas. Oh, gorgeous.
Ooh.
It's that time of year already, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Setting out tomatoes and sowing wallflowers straight into the soil. From her Devon garden, Carol Klein is exploring the latest plant science, uncovering what's really going on inside a seed the moment it is sown, and how this pioneering knowledge can transform the way people garden. Rekha Mistry is also on a mission to grow big in a small space, using only pots on her patio. In Oxfordshire, a garden designed for both beauty and biodiversity shows how plants can support wildlife as well as people. Also, a viewer in rural France shares a breathtaking naturalistic plot that blends seamlessly with the surrounding landscape.
I'm looking forward to that one in France. I love it when we get someone not in the UK.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Nice to see what other countries are up to, isn't it?
Exactly.
Well, we will be putting all the links on our website. Do check it out. Our website is
notjustagarden.co.uk.
And if you want to get in contact with us, you can through the website. You go to the contacts page, or you can through email at our email address, which is
notjustagarden@outlook.com.
And please do come and subscribe. As Sweet Pea mentioned earlier on, she puts together the plant lists each week, so you can see all the plants mentioned in the episode in case you didn't catch it on the episode.
And they've all been spell checked like crazy.
They've all been spell checked like crazy. They will be added to the bottom of the email that you receive with all the other links
down to the
if you have subscribed. So go to the subscribe buttons on every page, I think, on the website pretty much.
Yeah, I think so.
And pop your email address in there, then you will receive it.
Exactly.
And also we should just mention that although there isn't an episode next week of Gardener's World, we will be having a little bonus episode as we do in the downtimes.
We do.
So you can, if you want to hear our dulcet tones, then you can have a listen next week. We'll be here as per.
And there might be a Hobbs as well.
Undoubtedly, there'll be a Hobbs. I'm off to go pick some ground elder, so we shall see you next week.
That quickly, we sure will. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye, Sweet Pea.
Bye, Bye.